tell you all about.
Yeah. So if you want to be eligible for winning prizes and getting in on the information of like previews, so we're going to be building decks and giving them away. So in order to be eligible for that, you can subscribe to NatOne Magazine and comment in this live stream. Make sure you're commenting. And Dad will have a newsletter out for more information.
Yeah.
But
and congratulations to Colonel, your first
yeah, just call it out.
You get a Lolith Iron Booster.
Nice.
I don't have one to throw at you.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no violence in this live stream. So, we have a special guest with us today who is an expert on Star Wars Unlimited.
Expert.
Please.
How's it, everybody? My name is Etienne. Yeah, I work for Solarpop, and I love Star Wars Unlimited. Yeah, we're here to chat about it today.
Yeah, pretty excited. We were actually looking at some like cards and figuring out how to build decks.
Yeah.
And it's actually really interesting. It's very refreshing. I mean, we're Magic players, so it's quite nice to see this new kind of system. And I'm very excited to learn more about it.
Wow.
All right, so we have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
Kind of interrogation. Not. Oh yeah, test guys. Can you hear?
Testing.
That would be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
All
hear.
right.
All right. Hopefully, some of these questions will be some of the questions that you guys would have wanted to know the answers to. So we're gonna try and do that. All right.
Cool.
So my first question for you is: for someone watching who has never played Star Wars Unlimited, how would you describe the game in 1 minute?
Timing. Timing is everything in Star Wars Unlimited because unlike Magic, and I'm going to try and use Magic lingo, so don't hate me if I get it wrong.
It's okay.
But like
Wrong definition.
timing is key in this game because you have one action and then your opponent has an action, and so if you play a card, if you attack, if you use abilities and things like that, you got to get the timing right. So
because it actually does work differently than like
it does.
Magic,
You don't do everything at the
can't
same
do
time.
everything.
It's like I do one thing, so you can really plan your turn out. But like I said, the timing is so important in this game.
That is one thing I had to get used to when I played like my first couple of games. Was like I just wanted to play my stuff out, and just like nope, wait, one card at a time. You're like okay.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I actually appreciated the fact that someone didn't stop me every 5 minutes. It's like, can I do something? No. May I do something? No.
So when do you think instants will be introduced into this?
Well, there are certain abilities and effects that they've introduced over the multiple sets. I mean, we're at set 8 already. The game's going into its 3rd year now. So with every new release, they're bringing new mechanics into the game that just really enhances it. So there's definitely synergy on some of the cards where you can do multiple things, but it's still at its core, I do one action, you do one action.
Yeah.
Do you think the game is more geared toward TCG players, or can someone with no card game experience actually play the game?
I think both because, I mean, I've seen players that have never touched a card game in their lives before try this, and it's quite easy to explain because I think the whole thing where I do one action, you do one action, it's a lot easier to take in. There's, for instance, with Magic or some of the other bigger TCGs where you have a lot of these multiple things you've got to do in a turn. So it's a lot of information to process, where here it's simple. You play a card, cool, that's your action done. Now it's my turn. Comes back to me, okay, do you want to play another card or do you want to attack with a card? It's easy.
I think I enjoyed it. My brain tends to work a bit more slowly than a lot of people. So I appreciate kind of the clear actions that take place. It doesn't mean the game's slow, but the game is kind of easy to understand.
What do you mean? The stacking priority is absolutely clear.
No, it's not. What do you think is the strongest feature about the game?
I'd probably say the sort of diversity that you have with all the different aspects so the aspects in the game is the colors, essentially like in Magic, the different types of mana. Because
what do you call them? Sorry?
Aspects. So yellow and green and blue and red. And so red obviously is aggression and all of that. So I think there's a lot of flavor that they've brought and built into the game, which really enhances it, especially when it comes to deck building. I mean, I explained to you earlier, one of my favorite cards is Lando Calrissian, who's a gambler,
Yeah.
and he plays yellow aspects, so he's cunning, as it would be called. And so when you do an action, what you have to do is you have to guess a color aspect of an opponent's deck or your
I
own
love
deck.
this mechanic.
And then if you guess it right, you earn a credit, which is also a mechanic that gives you more money in the game so you can play bigger cards. So it's those sort of little touches they've added into the design that just makes everything work for me inside the game.
Basically, let's go gambling.
Yeah. Well, if you're playing with Lando, yeah, sure.
I actually love the fact that it has also the good and evil side, because what was that strategy that you that you found worked extremely well?
There's lots of options, and again, it depends on how you're playing the game. So if you're playing the game in a casual format like Twin Suns, which is like Commander, you can just really go crazy with your deck building. I mean, you can throw whatever you want in there because it's just fun, and politicking and all of that kicks in. So there's some cool cards that they brought in now that, for instance, bring bounty hunters, and there's elements where you can put bounties on other units that are playing in the game, and so you're kind of pushing people to attack and capture them and stuff. But yeah, I mean,
and with that gambling mechanic, I think a tip you actually told me was, instead of, because a lot of the cards have different aspects like red, green, blue, right? But you can kind of cheat the system with that.
So because, like, you said it very well there, it's like you're either a hero or you're a villain, right? And in a lot of the aspects, there are certain cards here that don't have aspects on them, but they're neutral cards. They're not always very good cards, but they're kind of filler cards when you're deck building. But all the really good cards in the game are either hero aspect to them or they're villain aspect. So if you are doing the Lando strategy where I'm guessing, then I can be like, hey, you're a villain, so you have villain cards, so villain black, boom, go, and then hopefully you get it right, and you make money, and sometimes you don't. So
on the bright side, the probability of that gamble is so much higher.
So for someone getting started, what is the best format you would recommend?
To start, I'd say Premier, because there's a lot of cool pre-constructed options available at this point for the game. And so with every set, they release a pre-con for your, dark side and light side, good or bad, like you can choose. And it gives you a really good jumping off point to get a deck into to the table so that you can play with your friends. And then you add a couple of boosters into that. You can then kind of tweak the deck a little bit, and then you can go play. Twin Suns is another option also, because Twin Suns, a larger deck, 80 cards, but you only need one copy of a card, and you can go and build something really cool and just have fun with it, So there's more serious option is Premier, which is the more popular format, but Twin Suns is something that I think is picking up quite nicely. And if you like Commander, then Twin Suns is the right fit for you. Yeah,
I definitely think that Twin Suns, like if it's a Magic player transitioning to a Star Wars, Twin Suns is more comfortable.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's very familiar. But I do actually have a question for the chat. So I asked you a question earlier on which side is better, light side or dark side. Guys, is the gray side
I
an
agree.
answer?
I
Is
agree
it
with
even
that.
an answer?
That's so an
That
answer.
wasn't the question.
No, I guess if I had to really, really like my gun to my head and I couldn't go Grey Jedi, I would probably end up saying I'll go Hero, because there's some Andor being one of my favorite series. You kind of have to respect the rebels up to a certain
The disappointment
point.
in your voice was like,
No, I go dark side. Look, to be fair, like all the decks I've played, the dark side I've always won with them, and whenever I play a light side deck, I lose. So I have to go dark side.
Yeah, we all knew that. It wasn't rocket science.
When we opened the Twin Suns decks, which one was it now? The Blood Brothers.
Oh yeah. With Maul and Savage.
Yep. That was immediately when I saw it. I was like, ooh, gimme.
that evidently is the strongest out of the 4 precons that released earlier this year. So also pre-constructed Twin Suns deck is ready to go out the box. So
it's just
very strong, that one.
It's just because like the companies are biased to the evil guys. Like they always get the buff. Like the good guys never get the big buff.
Yeah. Wait, got some chat to catch up with. So Colonel said, so true, SW is very fast game. Things can change very quickly.
Yeah, very true, very true.
I know you don't play Magic, Colonel, so we'll talk about that one. Eyeing those Ashes of Creation products in the background. Yes, the nice carbonite boosters, right?
Yeah, that's Ashes of the Empire.
Ashes of Creation.
I don't know why I say creation.
Oh, we have been
It's a
talking.
video game.
We have been
it's
talking
not
about
that's-
MMOs
yes.
a lot,
Yes,
so
that could
it's
be
okay.
That was a disappointment.
There was a big WoW talk before this one. Keep my eyes, surely Twin Suns again. Andor is peak.
Yeah, no, Andor is absolutely peak Star Wars. Yeah, no arguing that one.
Yeah. So, in Star Wars Unlimited, your ground units can only fight other ground units, and your flyers can only fight other flyers. Like, how would you describe that mechanic to a new player, and what would be the strategic benefit?
So it comes down to your leader and base combination, but a lot of leaders will lean heavily towards either being ground or space. But yeah, I mean, from a competitive standpoint, I mean, we were chatting earlier, I was saying to you, like the one deck that was just creating a lot of problems for people was Vader, because Vader could deploy as a pilot onto a ship. And every time he does an attack or an action, he can make another TIE fighter, and it's a swarm eventually.
Gives everyone a headache.
Yeah, so space.
All I'm saying is dark side.
Yeah, you gotta have a balance in the game. But yeah, if you don't prepare to take on space, then your opponent will very quickly pick up, as I evidently found out at the pre-release this weekend. I went quite heavy ground and I didn't focus so much on space. And after one game, my opponent's like, "Oh, you barely got any spaceships coming in here." So yeah, it was a free meal for them. But anyways, but yeah, I think your balance comes in with your leader and how you build the deck. And I think having a good balance of both. But in a lot of competitive decks and environments, you're probably going to have more ground units. So I would probably say 70-30. So 70% ground, 30% space.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But you could catch a guy off guard, eh? So if you go like, let's say 70 space and 30 ground, then that person's not prepared to take on that amount of space. You could catch someone off guard and then you take the game.
Are there any leaders that give that away?
Yeah, there are a few, like Vader being one of them, because the meta at that point, and this is now from set 7, Lawless Time, Vader was one of those sort of dark horse decks that you weren't quite, you didn't always see them come up, but when you did come up, okay, I am going to be dealing with someone that's going to just bring a whole bunch of spaceships out. And then if you're not prepared for it, then you're going to not going to end well.
So if a new player, like say one of the viewers wanted to start playing Star Wars Unlimited, how long do you think their first tutorial or gameplay will take before they feel comfortable playing the game?
Oh, you can, I mean, I can probably teach you the game in like 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, because you've got great starter products like the Battle for Hoth, which, one player plays Rebels, attacking Hoth. We all, love that movie. I mean, if you don't, shame on you, but like, so
No
that's
bias.
That's a board game.
It's a really, really, really. It's kind of like the Pokemon Battle Academy. Same thing. It gives you a really good grounding experience, because like you have the Rebel player and the Empire player, and you're trading off, and there's not a lot of complexity to the cards that are in those starters. Even though there's really strong cards in there also later on, if you do want to get into the more competitive formats like Premier. But it's very easy to explain to you how the sequencing works, how the rounds work. And because it's one action, kind of feels like you're playing like chess, until you finish a phase. And then once you've played your first phase, you like draw 2, everyone draws 2 cards. It's straightforward. Do you want to resource a card? Sure, yes, maybe no. And then you just repeat. So,
I also think it's just the fact that you play one thing at a time. And
it's very easy to onboard. I do strongly believe the game has a lot of layers to it also. So in the beginning, it's easy, haha, it's, anyone can do this, until you play against a really competitive professional player, in my opinion. And a shout out to Luca and Zayad and some of those really good guys that have won planetary qualifiers here in South Africa. You play a game against those guys and they're on a whole other level, and then you see how they play and how they strategize and how they plan their moves ahead. So I do think there's layers to it, but as far as to answer your question, it's a very, very easy game to get
So it's
into.
simple to understand, but few master it, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. And so for people...
can you just like turn
Oh.
your mic?
There we go, is that better?
Yeah.
Cool, 100%.
For people who are more Magic players or who play quite a few other TCGs, how does the mana system work, or the payment system for your cards work?
There's no mana, but there is resources, and that's one of the cool elements to the game is that any card can become a resource. And I know there's a few trading card systems now that have implemented a similar system, but it's really cool because you could sit with a lot of cards and anything can go in as a resource, and that's essentially what you're paying to play your cards.
But Kana does that, and then Gundam uses its own separate resource deck.
And you mentioned something about credits.
Yeah, so credits came in with the 7th set, so Lawless Time, and so the credits add to your resource pool. Sadly, you can't use credits to deploy your leader because the leader's got two sides to it. It's got its passive side, and then eventually when you have the right amount of resources available, you don't pay to play or bring your leader out. You just need to have those cards in play, and then you can do an epic action. So yeah, but there's other elements that they've brought in, some cool effects where usually when a card gets resourced, you can't touch it. But set 2, for instance, they brought in the smuggle mechanic, which I think is really on point because you're smuggling a card into the game. And then with set 6, they brought in a plot mechanic, which also allows you to plot a card from your resource area when you deploy your leader. So that resulted in some really broken combinations and strong power plays in the game that if you're not prepared for it, you're going to lose the game. So yeah.
You say plot mechanic, I immediately go to Magic Keyboard.
Yeah.
So I'm saying flying always an issue for ground players. I unfortunately missed the pre-release this past weekend since the FLGS stores near me were all in French.
Oh no!
Looking forward to cracking some packs.
Cool.
In South Africa. I love Battle Hearth. I bought for a friend to introduce him and a friend to play the game.
Yeah, it's a good start. Yeah.
Very I'm liking the new product that's coming out this year.
Ashes is looking like an incredibly strong set, at least from what I've seen, and from the pre-release I attended, I was very lucky, got some good cards. But yeah, just seeing what's been rolling out, and now the fun starts with the competitive season. Usually, what I call showdown season starts like at the 1st of August. So we probably going to start seeing store showdowns happening locally from around the second weekend of August. And then that's when you're going to start seeing the meta form. And it's always exciting because there's so many options available in the game right now with really great leaders that you're going to have a great time just tinkering and putting decks together and seeing what works.
So I actually have a question for coming from a Magic player side. What is the collectability versus playability? Because Magic is kind of both.
Yeah, look, you're comparing, we have to compare apples with apples here, not apples with a bazooka. I mean,
this is just a question that I'm curious as a Magic player.
Star Wars is very much it's in its 3rd year now, and it's going up against a game that's decades old and has a legacy. And so, you're going to have those value cards in there. There are valuable cards inside Unlimited. Like, for instance, you have the serialized cards that come out with some of the sets where you'll have numbered from 1 to 250. So if you hit one of those, then you have, there's only 250 out in the wild. And also showcase cards are incredibly awesome. If you do have the opportunity to pull one.
Can pull in normal breeds.
Yes, you can. Your chances of getting them from a carbonite is so much better. And that's the only time ever since collecting from set 1 that I've had the opportunity to pull a showcase. And there's no better feeling when you open it up and that leader looks back at you. And it's really, they do beautiful treatments on the cards. Like the artwork is stunning. And even some of the newer cards, with the last 2 sets now, they've changed the look and the feel. I should have brought them to show you, but they're really they're really good looking cards. So if you hit showcases, you're gonna probably end up paying a couple of R1,000 for some of them. Just I think yesterday on the trade group, someone pulled a Cad Bane from the new set, and hey, does anyone want to buy it 4,000 Rand for a showcase? And within a couple of minutes, someone's like, okay, it's sold. So people are collecting and trading, and they are pricey. If you do get one, you're lucky. Hold on to it.
So if a family was going to walk into a game store and they wanted to get into Star Wars Unlimited, what would you suggest them to buy?
If It depends if it's how big the family is that you're talking about.
Okay.
If it's just 2 people, or let's say 3 or 4,
Let's say 2 kids wanted to get into Star Wars Unlimited.
then a starter like Battle for Hoth is perfect because it comes with a nice
There's a
board.
yeah.
It explains you. I mean, it's probably one of the best produced like started how to play videos I've ever seen for Hoth, because you can literally, when you open up the pack, it's got a QR code and then it tells you don't shuffle because the video will.
So about that.
You shuffled.
I shuffled. It was automatic. I saw a deck.
She grabbed it, she was like-
I was like, we open it up, and I'm just like reading the rules, and it's automatic. I'm shuffling, and then it's like, I see, don't shuffle. Like,
That defeats the whole point.
Well,
Oh
you
no.
know, it's like those shorts where people start baking and they're like, "Oh, what an odd combination." the guy's like, "Yeah, you should put like what is it soy sauce in your water." And then the guy is like following the instructions. He's like, "Okay." And then he drinks it and he's like, "Joke's on you, you shouldn't drink soy sauce in your water."
no, but it's the magic shuffle brain coming because you're always busy like with something, and then I was just like, okay, well,
So
it's fine. I know it's fine. I know.
So that tutorial is quite cool because the video actually explains to you step by step on how to do the basic actions. You know, how to play a card, how to attack. You know, all that. So yeah, I think that's a great option. And if they don't have a Hoth or Hoth starter there, then any pre-constructed deck that you can buy. Because with every set they release a 2 decks, usually one good guy, one bad guy, and then you can choose whichever one you want.
No grey guy.
No grey guys.
And
sadly.
on the same.
I just want to ask chat's question because
Okay.
it is on the same
Okay.
thing. Josh asked, what would be a good starter deck? Like you were saying, and then Colonel said, good question. I would get Battle for Hearth. You got smooth introduction without much of a learning curve.
Yep.
And it's 2 ready to play decks, and they were like, sounds good.
Oh yeah, Icons. Icons is coming. So Icons is another starter set, hasn't been released yet. That is hitting us later on in the year, around Q4. So I'm very excited for that one because again, there hasn't been too many leaks or spoilers for the set, which I suspect will start rolling out probably in next month. We'll see more. But you also have Homeworlds that's coming. So they're sort of ramping up the releases a little bit, which is normally not how they operate. I mean, it's generally one release every quarter, which for me is amazing because it means that I still have money left in my bank account because some of the other systems do have quite a rapid release rate on different things. So
6 sets a year. And that's excluding secret layers.
So having one release every 3 months just really in my bank account thanks me, and I can maintain it, but they are doing some extra additional sort of supplementary releases. So Icons would be one of those releases. So there also will be starters and there'll be boosters and all the good stuff that comes with it. But yet we haven't seen a lot of spoilers for it yet. So I'll be keen to see what it's going to be made out of. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
For beginners who are buying decks and things, what would you say is the entry level price, or if you want to take it more seriously, what would be the budget for these kinds of?
So it depends. Like if you want to get in competitively, then Premier could become expensive because depending on what you're playing, your leader base combination, and there are very good, strong legendary cards and rare cards that you need to be playing competitively because in Premier you need 3 copies of a card. That, you know, so for really strong decks, you are going to have to spend some money. I mean, there isn't a big singles trade scene. There are people in trade groups that do trade, but we haven't seen a lot of stores, for instance, stock and sell singles, which is something I hope will change in time. But the stores that are doing it, much respect to them, do offer a lifeline for players that are looking for specific cards. But I think within the community itself, the trade groups are quite active. You'll sometimes find people selling cards, and if you're too slow, it's sold, and then you're like, damn it, why didn't I get it in time, you know? But yeah, Premier could become costly if you want like a high-end, you know, meta deck. But Twin Suns is very affordable because 1 copy of a card, you only need 80 cards, 2 leaders, 1 base. And you can throw whatever you want in there and just play for fun.
I was going to ask, so like Commander has its own band list and everything. Does Twin Suns have the same?
Nope. Even after 8 sets, anything goes. It's only in Premier where they've banned specific cards. And obviously earlier this year we had the first rotation. So the first 3 sets rotated out. So yeah, I mean the card pool is quite strong even with those 3 sets that are out. But now with Twin Suns, you have 8 sets that you can pick and choose from, which just results in a lot of shenanigans. So,
So we've been talking a lot about Twin Suns, but some people may not actually know or might be like a sore spot of understanding in Star Wars Unlimited, the different formats. So from my knowledge, there is Eternal, there's Twin Suns, and Premiere.
Premiere and then Trilogy. So those would be the 4 big ones. And then obviously got your sealed options too, because they are overseas where the game, the game's still very much, I would say, growing in South Africa. It's still very much unknown for a lot of people. A lot of people haven't played Unlimited yet, which we're hoping to change and get people in. But yeah, you have like big tournaments overseas, like planetary qualifiers, where they have sealed qualifier events where there's they cap it like 128 players for sealed, and then people will just come and build off their current set. And so yeah, I think there's a lot of options, but right up there it would be Premiere, which is the most popular format, then probably Twin Suns comes in second, and then Trilogy, and then Eternal. Eternal for me needs a little bit of work still, because it's the wild, wild west. I mean, there isn't a lot of cards that have been banned in there, and then you kind of feel bad if you play a game of Eternal with someone that, for instance, doesn't have the first 2 or 3 sets, and then suddenly you have these really broken combinations, and and then you kind of feel bad because you're like, you can't answer, especially if someone's brand new to the game and they've only started maybe 2 or 3 sets back, then they're going to be in for a hard time. So I think, definitely recommend Premiere as like the main format.
So as part of NatOne's initiative with this whole Star Wars situation, we're going to be giving away starter decks, like we said at the beginning.
Nice.
So if you subscribe to NatOne magazine, you have a chance to win that. Now, if someone has, let's say, played a starter deck, right? They've gotten into it, they enjoy it. What do you think would be the next step? Should they upgrade the deck? Should they buy a better one? Should they start from scratch and build from there?
So I think it depends on your play style. So like you like all the bad guys, like the good guys. Like it depends on the pre-con that you have, and then you got to lean into the strengths of that pre-con, because there's a lot of guides online. You'll find a lot of websites are very helpful. Star Wars Database, SWDB, very, very helpful around like what you can add to that deck that makes it really strong and competitive. I mean, for instance, Battle for Hoth, you can't take that deck to a tournament because it doesn't have a full 50 card complement, and you're gonna get smoked because it's a training starter deck. But
So
you could
don't take starter decks to tournaments, please.
But you do have really strong precons, like Jump to Lightspeed. There's the Boba Fett precon deck, which is really ridiculously strong, actually. And I mean, it just depends on what you want to play with at the end of the day, and you got to practice with that deck also. And then you can add cards to it. I mean, you can
I saw so much on the community about that deck.
No, it was disgustingly strong when it released. So but I think so I think you can really mix and match and add what you want in there. And I think the rares are fairly inexpensive, and then some of the legendaries tend to be a little bit on the pricey side.
But I think that's like coming from it being a new game. It is now an easy entry point than with Magic, where the prices can fluctuate so much.
Yes, but I think with very minimal financial input, you can actually get the deck to perform quite well at a Premier event. Twin Suns a different story though, because these Twin Suns pre-constructed decks are completely cracked. Like there are such good cards in these decks that you can't find anywhere else, and they're only in these Twin Suns decks. So there I know you have a bit of an advantage over a normal person that might just be playing with their plain old collection from home, and they might not have one of these precons. And if you take one of these precons and you play with them, they're not going to have a great time against you. So you'll have fun, but it's not going to be fair.
So what would you like to see in the community? Like if someone's not very close to a game store and stuff, what advice can you give, or that supports the Star Wars Unlimited space? I mean, how many stores are actively creating like environments where they can go play, or
It's very difficult because I feel a lot of times Star Wars feels like the adopted stepchild that's sitting at the back of the bus,
Shame.
and it unfortunately it is a little bit in the shadow of some of the bigger games that are out there. I mean, Magic being like
obviously the big one,
the Everest of TCGs, but Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and One Piece and the list goes on and on. These games have obviously been out for a longer period, so they've obviously accrued a much larger player base. And so it sometimes is very difficult for people to actually eventually to stumble onto Star Wars Unlimited. And like I explained to you earlier, the times I've had people come into the game is after they may be coming to play Magic and they're bored and they're waiting for people to get there, and then they would try the game. And then when they played the game, they're like, oh wow, this is actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then they usually play another game and then another game. And then before you know it, they really get into it. So I would suggest that if your store or wherever you are doesn't, for instance, have an active community, you are the only person that can make that change, And if you want to start, get a friend involved, and slowly but surely you'll build a player base by just playing and sharing the game with people. There's also established stores across the country that are doing a lot for the game. And so, it's just like I said, it's just sometimes the game's in the shadow with some of the bigger systems. So the stores can't, for instance, run events for everything. So they got to pick and choose, and I understand that. But I think if you're interested, speak to your store owner, or
there are going to be people out there who love the game as well.
Yeah.
They also would want to try it.
Yeah.
I do think that Star Wars coming out with Commander decks is actually a pretty good step, because like the way to get people in from especially like other TCGs like Magic is through a friend group.
Yes, exactly.
So like if one person, like for instance, like Colonel says, I've been having so much fun with the Twin Suns precons. My friends have been playing against each other with them, and it's been a blast.
Yeah, that's literally one of the actions you can take in the game. It's a bad, terrible pun. But I think why I love Twin Suns so much, and as something to get people into the game, is that if you compare, for instance, with Commander, and I've been witness to some very tragic situations where people play a Commander and then someone gets picked on and they are eventually knocked out. The game carries on without them, and that gives me PTSD back from playing Monopoly, where you go bankrupt, you lose all your property, now you got to find something else to do while the game carries on without you, and that's never a nice feeling to have. And so with Twin Suns, when someone gets eliminated in the game, that's it. The game ends for everyone, but you play out that phase, and that's where the really intense stuff goes down. And then the game ends, and then we play another one after that if we want to. So,
So what changes would you like to see in stores?
I would probably want to see more stores do learn to play, as in just introducing the game to people, because I feel sometimes a box doesn't always sell the product, and unfortunately Star Wars has had a bit of a rough time as of late. There's good elements to Star Wars, Andor being one of them, like amazing series. If you haven't watched it, please watch it. But then also you get some low points, like that Acolyte. So like a lot of people have been, I think, just hurt and scarred, and this is now back even from The Last Jedi, which I think created the initial schism within the community. And so Star Wars has lost some of its luster for people, and that's sad for me, because I will always love Star Wars. It's the sci-fi series I grew up with. But I think if people can look past the fact that it's Star Wars and just want to try an interesting, cool, captivating trading card game that's different, I would say try and put the Star Wars thing to one side. Just play the game for the mechanics and see if you like it, because chances are pretty good that you will like it. So
because it's like you don't have to like Star Wars to like the
no,
TCG.
not at all. In fact, my one good friend, he has probably never watched a Star Wars series or movie in his life. So shout out to Chris. But he loves the game because its mechanics are so good. So he's like, I don't know who these guys are. Who's this Luke guy? But I'll play him because he's into the mechanics, So
no, but that's what I found. Like playing the game for the first time is that I'm not like the biggest Star Wars fan. Like I've seen the movies, but like I don't.
You don't need to know anything.
Yeah, the
about
mechanics
it.
was what interested me on how the game actually played.
And that's where it shines. Sadly, like I said, that's where there's that barrier. People like Star Wars, like, and then you get the hardcore Star Wars people, like, the older crowd, as I like to call them, because, like, let's be real, like, a lot of folks from the original trilogy and even the newer movies, there's a couple of years back already that it's come out. So for a lot of people, they've moved on, and there hasn't been any good new movies lately, except for Mandalorian, which we won't talk about. But I think next year we've got Starfighter with Ryan Gosling. Who doesn't like Ryan Gosling? He's a good actor. So I think Starfighter could be a good movie that might bring people back to Star Wars.
Was Ryan Gosling the Barbie guy?
Yeah.
That's all I'm seeing.
That's also all I'm seeing.
What?
No.
No, wrong answer. He's not
He's
dead.
Ken from Barbie, and that's
So,
all I can see right now.
have you watched Project Hail Mary?
Every?
No.
You should watch Project Hail Mary.
Okay.
Like, brilliant book. If you can, read the book, but the movie is fantastic. So he's also in that. And that was one of the more faithful
I think that
adaptations
is,
I've seen from a book to movie. So yeah, so Ryan Gosling, I think is a good choice, good actor to bring into Star Wars, and hopefully it energizes people a little bit more, and and it's a new story, new characters, so
Yeah,
I can only
hopefully
hope for the
that'll
best.
be like a fresh, page.
Just wipe away all the previous.
Yeah,
But,
just wipe
but
everything
people
away.
that are into animation, I mean, the Star Wars animated shows like Maul, like most recent animated series that came out on Disney Plus, fantastic.
I think the
Fantastic
animations
series.
are better than the
So
live
So good,
actions.
so good. I agree.
So
Yeah, Bad Batch is also very good. So yeah, again, to get to the point, like you don't need to know Star Wars to enjoy this game. Yeah, so I think the main point.
So, how exactly did you find your love for Star Wars? Like, what triggered the I actually really like this game.
For Unlimited I was very much against it because I wouldn't say I got burnt with Star Wars Destiny, but Star Wars Destiny was a precursor to this game, and Star Wars Destiny, I still have my collection of dice. I've got containers of dice. So think of it as like a trading card game, but when you're attacking with a card, you have to roll a dice, and the 6-sided dice had, either was giving you resources or it was giving you damage. And so a really, really good system. And I'm sad that they ended up sunsetting the game because the production costs, because when I say these dice were chonky dice, they were like chonky, solid dice, and it just became too expensive for them to produce the game. And so I think already then I was hook, line, and sinker for anything Star Wars. The board games are good and stuff. And then I remember we were at Gen Con, and there was a massive, massive queue of people that were queuing to demo the game at Gen Con. And I still remember I was there with my one director, and I said, look, I know we got to run to our next meeting, but do you think when we're done, can we just pop in here and I want to play a game, right? I just want to see what this is about. And I remember sitting down, and the demo guide at that point was so good, and he was explaining to me within a minute or two, and us being gamers, both me and my director were like, okay, we get it. And then I finished it, and I was like, can we play again? They're like, no, so sorry, there's a queue. You have to get back in the queue. I'm like, okay, but where can I buy this game? So now the hooks are in, and I think the simplicity to the game really got me, and the fact that it was a little bit like Star Wars Destiny. So for the viewers that might have played the game would, link up to that. But yeah, there's just something for me about it that just the mechanics it's just so easy to play, and the deck building's easy, and it's just, yeah, I like the whole, I do one action, you do one action. I don't have to overthink.
Yeah.
And in the moment, you have to make a decision. That timing comes in. It's just a really good system for me.
It's simple to understand.
That is one of the reasons why I asked is going to be instance in the game, because as a blue player, that's one of my things where I'm like, no, I want to say no.
You can totally control. I remember I like playing control, and people don't like you very much because you board wiping, and you have one unit left. Well, I'm going to play this card now that you've got to kill your unit. Nothing breaks someone's spirit when you play a card that just deployed their leader, and okay, I'm playing this card.
You're telling me.
That's the best part.
Yeah, not if you like having friends, right? So you want to actually have friends going through life. So yeah.
I believe that in the decks we're giving away, there are some cards that have rotated out of Premiere.
Which ones though? From Ashes.
I think it is.
No, the cards in the precons you have here should all be in set. Yeah. It won't be from the first 3 sets. They might bring cards in from set 4 and all that, because every now and then they'll reprint them. But yeah, like these decks.
That's Ryan Reynolds thinking it. Sorry.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there we
That's
go.
Deadpool. That's Deadpool. But yeah, no, that you can go play a premier event with these precons.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you say Eternal is a good environment for beginners or not?
No, I wouldn't say so, purely because Eternal is for like the really hardcore collectors and players that want to play with all the shiny cards from the earlier sets, because unfortunately
Shiny new toys.
As any TCG is, when it comes out,
Yeah.
there's broken stuff.
So there's just crazy combinations, and the some of the Eternal games I've played have been brutal, because like there's just really busted combinations that you don't have answers for. And like I mentioned earlier, like you play with a new player and they don't have, let's say, set 1 or set 2 cards, you kind of feel just a little bad for them, because you have this huge edge on them, you know. So but yeah, I think most of these precons are ready to go out the box. You can play Premier with them perfectly fine. Yeah.
So how important do you think is the environment of a beginner walking into a store and someone loaning a deck for them to play, or an environment where people are just inviting newbies and being patient with them? I think the community plays a big role in introducing anyone into a game, especially Star Wars.
I think we have a really amazing community. Like we are like really friendly players, and people are willing to teach you a lot. I mean, and obviously when you go into a competitive setting, you know, you are going to have to go in knowing that people are playing for prize support and things like that. But a lot of the events that are hosted are technically casual events. You know, the planetary qualifiers we host are like really competitive. But like, yeah, even the store showdowns, which is technically classified as a casual event, end up being quite competitive also. But people are there to help you. I mean, there's a lot of stores that do a weekly play evenings and events. So you just got to look at your local store and you see if they do have the game, and if they don't, then by all means try and get them to start something, and I'd be more than happy to help.
And if you see someone playing, then don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
People are very friendly and willing to help.
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite deck?
Right now, I'm still tinkering with some of the new heroes, but aggression is generally my jam, because that's usually the red aspect. So aggression is very strong, because you either win fast or you lose fast. That's why I see it. Control takes a lot of skill, and some of the really good players in the community, they would favor like green and obviously blue vigilance, which is very strong colors for that. But I do like playing aggressive decks. Cunning's good too, but cunning's more mid-tempo, so it's more like you really need to know your timing around
The
when.
gray area.
You just set out yourself up for that one.
I'm not gonna let that one down.
Just,
okay.
Just to quickly cover it, how do colors work exactly in Star Wars
I actually have a question.
Unlimited?
Do you have like names for the different color combinations like we do in Magic?
Yeah,
like
they do.
Lesmia.
Yeah. Well, so red is aggression, blue is vigilance, yellow cunning, and so on and so forth. White is heroism, black is villainy, and so the aspects, you got to think of it like in Magic terms, mana colors. It's the same thing. But yeah, we don't ever call like, I want to use like, oh, that blue vigilance card. It's like that blue card because it's got the blue aspect on it. So yeah.
So
play Rakdos and Star Wars.
Yeah.
They're just like,
So if somebody doesn't know really about the game and how the colors work, so if you play a base and a leader, let's say your leader's green, your base is blue, that means you can have blue cards and you can have green cards.
Correct. Yeah.
And if you're playing Twin Suns,
Well, then you have 2 leaders and a base, and then you have even more options that you can. I mean, in some cases you can like 5 aspects if you really wanted to. So there's so many options, and you can play whatever you want. I think the game's quite forgiving because if you play a card that's outside your aspects, meaning if your leader or your base doesn't have that aspect, you only pay 2 extra on the cost for the card. So you can totally play out of aspect, but it's going to cost you at the end of the day. So you just got to be careful with how you go about your deck building. and all that.
just make sure you're in the colors. So would you recommend having more colors or less colors?
I would say in Premier, a good combination would probably end up being like your 3 colors, like your 3 aspects. Some cases
Premier,
4.
How would you manage to?
Well, again, it depends on your leader-based combo that you're running. But I think if you look at it, most leaders will have 2 aspects on them, right?
Okay.
And generally one of those aspects will either be good guys or bad guys, so hero or villainy, and then it will have like red,
okay.
green, blue,
Makes sense.
and then your base will have a similar situation on it. But generally, the base is usually like an aspect.
And in Twin Suns, how many colors would you recommend?
There, because you've got then the two leaders, they both have two aspects on each. Sorry if this sounds confusing, but they both have two aspects on it, and the base has also an aspect on it. Then that opens up a lot of possibilities. So
for people coming from Magic, aspects is basically the color
the
put
color,
on
yeah,
the card.
yeah.
And what's different is the heroism and the villainy, because you have good guys and bad guys. So it's just like an extra color wheel that you added.
Exactly, and it's baked into almost all the heroes that you get in the game, or the leaders. Sorry, yeah.
Okay, I think one of my final questions for you is, where do you see this game going in the future?
It's look, I won't mince my words. It's tough at the moment because the competition is so fierce in the market, and South Africa is a very small country if you think about the scale of things compared to how big the industry is overseas in North America, Europe, where there's a lot more people, and people also have a lot more money to spend on games. So these hobbies are not like super cheap either. But I mean, at the same time, I want nothing more for the game to grow, because I feel that there is so much potential still for it, because I've now encountered so many guys and girls that have never ever even bothered to try the game, and when they do, they kind of get it, and they're like, okay, wow, like I'll give this a go. But I do see the game growing still. I mean, there's no plans from at least Fantasy Flight's side of slowing down. I'm lucky enough to get a peek behind the door when they send me solicitations on what future sets look like, and it's hella exciting for some of the stuff coming down the pipe. But I mean, a lot of times I've got to order stock like 6 to 8 months ahead of time, so I don't have a crystal ball. Like I have a magic 8 ball at the office. I check on them to see, but the main thing here is like, you don't always know what's coming down the pipe, but what I can see is that there's a lot more content coming for the game. They're expanding with every new set. They're bringing new mechanics, which just really enhances the game. And even the last 2 sets have been fantastic with what they've brought on board with multi-aspect cards. It's just a lot of fun, and I don't think I've ever had so much fun with a trading card game than I've had with this game over the last few years. So
I think that's our goal. That's why NatOne has this initiative, is because the game is actually fun, and we want to bring more South Africans into it and see people actually start enjoying the game, because there are so many ways to spend your time, and you can put it into so many different things, and I think adding a bit more joy to everyone's lives is really important. This is a personal question from my side. How was the experience in this industry, or these games, these TCGs, overseas versus in South Africa?
It changes you. I mean, I'm very fortunate to have been able to attend gaming conventions in America and in Germany, for instance, from the board gaming side, like Spiel or Essen is huge. And I mean, last year they pulled 255,000 people. I stand to be corrected, don't hate me, but I think it was 250 odd thousand people for just a board gaming convention in Germany. Your mind will... I was like picking up my brains like the first time I went overseas.
Your jaw was just gone.
Because you can't comprehend it. And my same experience, it was like a spiritual experience for me when I first did Gen Con, my first ever Gen Con. It was mind-blowing, because the whole downtown Indianapolis is just a gaming convention. People are playing. I remember walking through some of the hotels that's connected to the convention center, and one of my directors was with me, and he was like my guide, because I would just be like off the leash. I'd just be like running in and just diving into the gaming areas and the stands and stuff. But like, just seeing people sit wherever there's open space to play, people would be playing, and thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people that descend on these conventions. And I think the point where I realized, okay, there's a huge gap between South Africa and like America, was where my director walked me from the main convention center over, and we went through like an underground like passage where there was cosplay going on. They had a live underground like sort of RPG dungeon where you buy like poker chips, and then you can go and do live action role playing, which looked awesome. But then he took me into a football stadium where I think it's the Oilers or one of the big NFL teams play. And when he took me to the top, I just hear like this din, like this noise coming, and I'm like, where are we going? And he's like, wait. And then we get there, And like the stadium here in Cape Town, like that whole bottom floor, I just look like ants, and it's just people playing games. And he just nudged me. He says, "This is the overflow."
Wow.
And I was like, that
is
meme where the guy's like,
insane.
That's crazy.
I couldn't believe it. And so for me, the scale and the size they have over there, it's nothing. It's day and night difference. But I came back to South Africa feeling hopeful that like one day I would love for us to be able to do that. And I will forever stand on that hill and die on that hill, because I feel South Africa has the potential to bring more people into this hobby. Doesn't matter if you play board games or card games or whatever. You have the opportunity to make this a bigger community by just playing and sharing your passion for games. And one day, who knows, we could get that. I mean, with Comic-Con, we are seeing that. I mean, every year Comic-Con gets bigger and bigger.
we managed to have, 40,000 people?
Yeah.
That's a crazy amount of people.
Yeah, and so Comic-Con Africa this year is also going to be huge. I mean, we are going to be doing a lot of cool stuff there, so stand by for that. But I mean, I think with Comic-Cons, it's a great opportunity to bring new people in, and I think that's a big thing. We don't have a big gaming culture here, you know, like what they have overseas. So every little bit of effort you put in to introduce someone to the game, being patient with someone, showing them a board game or teaching them, and just be kind and patient with people, you're going to see, like, little by little, you're growing the scene. And before you know it, we're also going to have a Gen Con here one day. It'll be awesome.
One day, hopefully.
One day.
I mean, holding out for that.
Yeah, and I think what's amazing about Comic Cons is that some people just go out of curiosity, and then they end up actually finding something they like.
Yeah.
I think that's the magic of Comic Con.
Yeah, that's it. And I highly recommend it. There's cool cosplay, there's all sorts of cool panels, but what we do, like, I just think our involvement and the help that we put in through Unplug Yourself, which is like, they always host a really awesome events, and it's so cool to go there, because we teaching games to people that have never, you mean they rocked up at the Comic-Con because they like Spider-Man, right? So now they're walking around, the next one's like, what are these board games? And Catan being like one of those games that's been around since 1993. Some people still don't know what Catan is. It blows my mind. But I'm finding more and more people, when I say Catan, then they're like, oh, I know what you're talking about. Catan. Oh, like, great.
It's becoming like the household game, which arguably better than Monopoly. Monopoly breaks households.
We want to talk about that. PTSD.
I think we all
Colonel
have
says,
PTSD.
surely a PQ or an RQ at Comic-Con Africa.
It's tricky. I would love to do a PQ there, but then you got to think of it like the impact on cost, because now you got to pay to get into Comic-Con, and then you got to also pay to get into the planetary qualifier. So sad, as much as I would love to do it there, we're not maybe there yet. And so for now, we are obviously letting stores run the PQs, because we feel that's something the community and the store works together to make it into a really cool event. So I think for now, stores will do it. Regional qualifiers, we're still quite a ways out on that. Unfortunately,
we still struggle. We got one, I think, this year for Magic, and that's in Bloemfontein.
We need the numbers, and unfortunately, I think planetary qualifiers right now is where it's at for us. You still get points. And if you want to, you can go to play in Galactics if you obviously qualify for it. But they have huge events like overseas where they cap. And I think the one they had in France was like 600 and something players. I don't know the exact amount. Again, I'm not that great with numbers. But it was a huge event.
Are you going to that one?
Now, if you're in Europe, you're spoiled for choice, because they have such amazing events there. So,
All right. So is there any more questions?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Just reiterate the
if you
we've got going.
So we're giving away starter decks, right? Star Wars Unlimited starter decks. So custom, we're building it. All right, guys. So you get out on a little spice.
It's extra special, homemade with love.
So but if you want to be eligible for it, just subscribe to NatOne magazine and let your friends and family know if they're interested in having fun and having a chance to experience something they've never tried before.
So, and leave a comment below in this video.
Just stream. That will become a video.
It will become a video once it ends.
Is there anything like mutate?
Is
there transform?
Not yet.
What about that one robot that no, he doesn't transform. C3PO just was on the head of something else.
Droid.
It's just a droid on
Sadly,
another droid's
no.
body.
But I do see some cool stuff coming down the pipe. So far,
Yeah,
every new set has had a cool new mechanic that makes the game like just that much better every time. So yeah,
Okay, that's cool.
stand by. It
Stand
might
by,
come, it
guys.
might
Stand
come.
by. There's interesting stuff afoot.
Yeah.
You can probably check in the description the details of it.
Yes. So if you guys want more information, just check in the description. Everything will be there.
Yeah.
NatOne Dad has done a good job of laying everything out for you. So all you have to do is read. So good
Which,
luck.
if you're wanting to play a card game, you should do.
No, give it a go. Give
And
it
if
a go.
you're dyslexic, you got this.
You win,
Still
irrespective.
Still attempt to do so.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you
on.
for having me.
for
It's
joining
great.
us.
And no, thank you. Yeah.
We're really excited to get into it. I'm excited to try and build the decks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be seeing more of him.
I feel like people are really gonna know which deck they got from me
You
versus
should
from
sign
you.
it. Yeah, seriously, like sign it. So, yeah,
So,
I would do that.
I feel like
Maybe
they'll
the
know.
sleeve, not the card.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like they'll know by the way it's built. If it's
Yeah.
built like jank, it's probably Hope. If it's built badly, it's probably me. All right.
I'll be doing the aggro.
Yeah. Oh, I want to do aggro. I like green.
Hmm.
I like green. But you said green is more tactical.
No,
or-
all the colors are tactical. It just
Yeah.
depends on your playstyle. So if you're going more heroism, then there's certain builds, and I think again it comes down to the leader that you like to play with. If there's a leader that resonates with you, or you just like the way he sounds or looks, you might not need to know anything
Yeah.
about him in the Star Wars series or books or whatever. It just looks cool, then just run with it, and you'll very quickly see because all the cards will say like what it is, if it's an underworld or if it's a bounty hunter or something like. So you kind of go with those keywords, and then you start building your deck around that, and you'll see it's actually quite easy to put a deck together.
Yeah.
If it works, though, that's
It's
the
another
next
question.
question. But a lot of
But you
times,
know what? When you guys get the decks, you can figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're really happy that we got to experience this because
Yeah.
I've played Star Wars Unlimited before,
Mm.
but haven't gone in depth
Mm.
with it, especially. And it's really nice and it's very
Yeah.
interesting to learn all of this new information.
it's something
When are we
else.
playing?
It's something else.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
All right.
I don't know, Colonel, but I'm gonna watch you. I'm playing aggro.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys very much for
Yeah.
watching. We appreciate it for tuning
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, and remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
I can't remember if we're gonna say Namara Adventures or May the Force be with you. I'm not
Let's
sure.
go
Whatever
with
works.
May the Force be
Let's
with you.
go.
This is
Let's
the
go.
time.
May the
Use-
Force.
use-
Just don't do this.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
wrong
know. I
one.
did that
Wrong one.
automatically, guys.
So what's
okay,
it?
my Star
Use
Trek
use the
brain-
Force, Harry, or what's it? What's it going in? Like I couldn't remember.
There was so many franchises that just
Oh,
like were
man.
thinking. My half of my brain's Star Trek. The other half right now
Yeah.
is Star Wars.
I just did a whole news thing on like the Star Trek stuff for Magic. So
Mm.
now I've caught myself like trying not to say Star Trek. the
Live
whole
long
time.
and
'Cause I'm
prosper.
like, oh, that's where my brain is at now.
That's all good.
All right.
Awesome. But thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So on 3, 2, 1, we go. May the Force be with you.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm checking because he needs to
Well,
switch
it's
it off.
30 seconds delay, so.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
May
May the Force be with you.
Live long and prosper.
Oh.